Have you ever wondered how Mexico's rich and vibrant culture came to be? Let's journey back in time to the birth of civilization in Mexico, where the seeds of its diverse culture were sown. Our story begins with the Olmecs, known as the mother culture of Mesoamerica. Rising around 1600 BCE on the Gulf Coast, the Olmecs laid the groundwork for future societies. They were artists, sculptors of colossal stone heads, and architects of cities. Their influence spread far and wide, shaping the culture, religion, and art of the region. As the Olmec civilization waned, another was on the rise. Enter the Mayans, a civilization that would thrive from 2000 BCE until the Spanish conquest. The Mayans were not only known for their architectural marvels but also for their advancements in various fields. They were mathematicians developing a complex numerical system and astronomers accurately predicting celestial events. They were scribes too, creating one of the earliest writing systems in the Americas. Their accomplishments still inspire awe today. Finally, we turn our attention to the Aztecs, a warrior society that emerged around the 14th century. Their military prowess allowed them to build an empire that spanned across most of modern-day Mexico. The Aztecs were also master city builders, constructing their grand capital, Tenochtitlan, on an island in Lake Texcoco. With its causeways, canals, and grand temples, Tenochtitlan was a sight to behold, and was often compared to the great cities of Europe. These ancient civilizations, with their unique contributions to art, architecture, society, mathematics, and astronomy, laid the building blocks for what would become the rich and vibrant culture of Mexico. They were the originators of a legacy that would be carried forward, adapted, and enriched by generations to come. These ancient civilizations laid the foundations for the diverse and intricate culture that we see in Mexico today. And as we continue our journey, we'll see how this culture evolves, survives, and thrives, making Mexico a country that's as fascinating as it is diverse. But what happened when foreign forces set their sights on this prosperous land? In the early 16th century, a Spanish expedition led by Hernán Cortés arrived on the shores of Mexico. The Aztec Empire, one of the most powerful civilizations of the time, was in full bloom. Yet it was this empire that would face the brunt of the Spanish conquest. Cortés, with his band of conquistadors, had a single-minded goal: to conquer and claim these rich lands for Spain. The Aztecs, under the rule of Moctezuma II, were initially welcoming, mistaking Cortés for a prophesied god-king. This misunderstanding, however, soon turned into a deadly conflict. The Spanish were vastly outnumbered, but they had two significant advantages: superior weaponry and, unintentionally, deadly diseases. Smallpox, measles, and other European diseases to which the indigenous people had no immunity ravaged the Aztec population. As the Aztec Empire fell, a new era began. The Spanish introduced their language and religion, reshaping the cultural landscape of Mexico. Catholicism intermingled with indigenous beliefs, leading to unique practices still evident today. The Spanish language became the lingua franca, although indigenous languages like Nahuatl and Maya continue to be spoken. Yet, the Spanish conquest was not just a story of subjugation. It was also a story of cultural exchange. The Spanish brought horses, wheat, and cattle, while the New World offered corn, tomatoes, and chocolate. This exchange enriched both European and Mexican cuisines, giving us staples like tortillas, tamales, and the humble yet beloved tomato sauce. The Spanish rule lasted for nearly 300 years, leaving an indelible imprint on Mexican society. But the resilient spirit of the indigenous people persevered, their traditions and beliefs surviving and adapting, threading through the fabric of Mexican culture. It's this fusion, this melding of old and new, indigenous and Spanish, that created a unique blend that is distinctly Mexican. The Spanish conquest was a pivotal chapter in Mexico's history, a period of upheaval that ultimately gave rise to the vibrant, diverse culture we see in Mexico today. The fusion of indigenous and Spanish cultures created a unique blend that is distinctly Mexican. So how did Mexico break free from Spanish rule and shape its own destiny? Let's dive in. At the start of the 19th century, Mexico found itself at a crossroads. Tired of the oppressive Spanish rule, the seeds of discontent were sown. It was during this time that a man named Miguel Hidalgo, a Catholic priest, emerged as a beacon of hope. He set the stage for Mexico's fight for independence, rallying the masses with his now famous Grito de Dolores, or Cry of Dolores, a call to arms against the Spanish rule. This spark ignited the Mexican War of Independence, a grueling 11-year struggle that saw Mexico wrestle control from Spain. The war was marked by the heroism of figures like Ignacio Allende, José María Morelos, and of course Hidalgo himself. Their resilience and determination were instrumental in ushering in a new era of independence for Mexico on the 27th of September, 1821. But the road to self-governance was not without its bumps. The newly independent nation faced numerous challenges, including political instability and economic disparities. These issues culminated in the Mexican Revolution, a decade-long civil war that began in 1910. The revolution was more than just a political upheaval. It was a social and cultural movement. It aimed to address the rampant inequality and injustice in Mexican society. Leaders of the revolution, like Francisco Madero, Emiliano Zapata, and Pancho Villa, championed the rights of the people, pushing for land reforms and improved working conditions. The Mexican Revolution, while tumultuous, fundamentally reshaped Mexican society and politics. It led to the formation of a new constitution in 1917, which emphasized social rights and served as a blueprint for other nations. But perhaps most importantly, these periods of struggle and change instilled a sense of national identity among the Mexican people. They stirred a deep pride in their cultural heritage, a pride that continues to resonate in the heart of every Mexican to this day. These tumultuous periods in Mexican history left an indelible mark on the nation's identity. And that's how Mexico broke free and shaped its own destiny. But what about Mexico today? How do these historical events influence the Mexico we know? Fast forward to the present, and you'll find a country that is a vibrant tapestry woven from its rich past. The ancient traditions of the Aztecs and Mayas, the influence of Spanish colonialism, and the revolutionary ideals of the 19th and early 20th centuries all continue to shape Mexico's modern culture in profound ways. Consider Mexican music. From the soulful strains of mariachi, born in the western state of Jalisco, to the lively rhythms of son jarocho from Veracruz. These musical styles are deeply rooted in the country's indigenous and Spanish heritage. They're not just entertainment, they're living, breathing expressions of Mexico's diverse history. And then, there's Mexican art. It's not just about the world-renowned murals of Diego Rivera or the haunting self-portraits of Frida Kahlo. From the vibrant street art that adorns the walls of Mexico City to the intricate designs of Huichol yarn painting, Mexican art tells a story of struggle, resilience, and a deep connection to the land and its people. Mexican architecture, too, is a testament to the country's layered history. From the colonial-era Baroque cathedrals to the modernist designs of Luis Barragan, Mexican architecture blends the old with the new in ways that are both innovative and respectful of tradition. Finally, we come to Mexican cuisine. It's a feast for the senses, a blend of flavors and ingredients that trace their roots back to the ancient civilizations that first cultivated maize, beans, and chili peppers. But it's also a cuisine that has been shaped by Spanish, African, and other global influences, making it a delicious embodiment of Mexico's multicultural heritage. The echoes of the past resonate in every corner of modern Mexico, from its bustling cities to its quiet rural villages. From its music and art to its architecture and food, Mexico continues to carry the legacy of its past into the future, creating a culture that is as diverse, rich, and vibrant as the country itself. So, how does Mexico's rich history and culture impact the world stage? Well, let's start with the festivals. Mexico's Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, is a celebration embraced by people from all corners of the globe. It's a time when families gather to honor and remember their deceased loved ones in a vibrant display of marigolds, sugar skulls, and altars. It's not a day of mourning, but a celebration of life, showing us that memories and love transcend the boundary of life and death. Then there's Carnival, a pre-Lenten festival known for its parades, costumes, and music. What started as a local festivity has morphed into a global phenomenon, with carnival celebrations popping up from Sydney to Toronto. But it's not just festivals. Mexican cuisine, with its mouth-watering tacos, enchiladas, and guacamole, has won the hearts and stomachs of food lovers worldwide. The unique blend of flavors, spices, and techniques has led UNESCO to designate it as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity. And let's not forget the language. Spanish, the official language of Mexico, is now the second most spoken language in the world. It's the primary language in over 20 countries and is studied as a second language by millions more. Moreover, Mexican art and architecture, from the ancient pyramids of the Mayans to the colorful murals of Diego Rivera, have left an indelible mark on the world. They continue to inspire and influence artists and architects globally, and it doesn't stop there. Mexico's influence extends to music, film, literature, and even sports. From the catchy rhythms of mariachi to the thrilling spectacle of lucha libre, Mexico's cultural exports are as diverse as they are captivating. From its ancient civilizations to its modern-day influence, Mexico's vibrant culture and rich history continue to captivate the world. Whether you're celebrating Day of the Dead, enjoying a plate of tacos, or learning Spanish, you're experiencing a part of Mexico's global influence. And that's something worth celebrating.